Started then. It is 7 o'clock. Has everyone had a couple glasses of wine? That's good. We hope that you're nice and relaxed and you're ready for the meeting tonight. First off, my name is Steve Waring. I'm the executive director here for Town Hall. And tonight is our 2018 annual meeting. And the theme for tonight's meeting is aging with tradition and toasting the future. In 2017, the Community of Celebration began its journey into our next 20 years. 2016 was our anniversary year. 2017 was our first year after that. And tonight we're going to celebrate the accomplishments over the past year of the board, the committees, the volunteers, and the management team. And we're going to be raising our glasses to toast the celebration and toast the future for celebration. So thank you all for coming tonight. We really appreciate you being here. I'm just going to jump right into it. The first slides here are to recognize our outgoing 2017 Board of Directors. And you'll notice in the picture, Mr. Collins isn't there. He couldn't make the board meeting last week, and that's usually the traditional meeting where we do the picture of the board right before the meeting. So unfortunately, he couldn't be here, and he's not here tonight. But if I can introduce your board of 2017, and hold off on your applause, because they really deserve an applause. They've done a wonderful job this year. This board consists of 7 dedicated volunteers, and I can tell you from my time working with them, they really take their fiduciary responsibility to heart, and they are constantly looking at maintaining, protecting, and enhancing the values of the common areas of the community and of your homes. So they've done a wonderful job this year, and they put a lot of work and effort into it. So I will start by introducing your leader of your board this year, Jack McLaughlin, as your president. Leonard Tim is your vice president. Tim Swisher serves as secretary, and Paul Collins was the CROA treasurer. Our directors at large include David Anderson and Eric Opegard, and then Debbie and Paul took on an additional responsibility of representing CROA on the CJC board. So please join me in giving them a big round of applause for their dedication to the community and their time. These next couple of slides I'm going to go through real quickly. CCMC is the management team, the management company for the community, and it's more than just the team that you see on site, and you can see some of the names here. But the new thing with CCMC for this past year was a new division, which was the Eastern Division. So in the past, Florida was part of the Central Division, and this year we're Eastern Division. And we have a brand new leader that's here on site, and someone in the hallway said, "You're the new Todd." So Todd Davison was our president before, but this new Todd, which is Joe Cook, is actually here stationed in Central Florida. So if Joe's here, can you please stand up, Joe, and be recognized? And here's Joe Cook, our new president. And everybody knows Pat Lawson, and unfortunately Pat couldn't be here tonight. She had business in Tallahassee that she had to attend to. So she did apologize. This is the first annual meeting that Pat's missed since she's been in celebration. So we miss Pat tonight. Some of the other names of the people that are here, you can read them here, but they all are support for us here at Celebration. So that slide shows some of the additional support. And I'm going to quickly go through our on-site team, just so that I really want you to kind of see the faces to the names. You probably talked to us on the phone, but if you haven't officially met us, and if you're here, please raise your hand. Susan Kearns is our community manager. JR is behind the camera, Director of Communication Lifestyle. And then Patrick's on the soundboard here. He's the customer solution manager. Our other department heads are our leadership team. Todd Haskett is our operations manager. Todd's back in the back there. Tony is our community standards manager. Tony's back in the back also. Susanna, our service area and canoa manager. She's very last row back. And then Rachel is our business office manager. We have Susan Eder as administrative assistant working with the service areas and working with the business office. And then Christina is fairly new with us. She's our accounts receivable coordinator. Celebration News, Scott Zweibel, and he's over here on the camera taking pictures tonight. And then our Lifestyles and Parks and Recreation team, Dana and Amber. I believe they're both here. They were out in the hallway. We have Nikki, Kevin, and Pete, all part of our Parks and Recreation team. Pete's the one that's always setting everything up and tearing everything down, and he knows this community like the back of his hand. We have our aquatics team. If you've been down to the pool, taken swim lessons, met our lifeguards, this is our aquatics team at Lakeside Park. And then our customer solutions team, our front desk, they're the first impressions when you walk into the building. Griselle, Gabriella, and Robin. And then our community standards team, Tim is new. Tim Prescott's our new community inspector. Mary Jane, Jessica, and Laura. Laura's really well. And then our maintenance team, we have Rob, Juan, Brian, and Richard. If you get it. If you went to the bathrooms tonight, you notice a complete restroom makeover. And these guys did a lot of work on that. They worked over the Thanksgiving holiday and then a lot of weekends to try and get this done. So it looks really nice in there. And now I'm going to introduce Bennett with Mattamy Homes, and he's just going to give a really quick introduction and then remind you that on Monday, the 12th, next Monday, the Mattamy Homes will be here for a town hall meeting. So we'll invite you all back on Monday to ask questions of Mattamy Homes. So Bennett, if you'd like to come up.
What time on Monday?
Bennett will talk about times and everything here when he comes up. 5:30? 5:30 to 7:30?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for having me here today. I guess. Is that me? Okay. All right.
You're a robot.
Okay.
There it goes.
I guess I couldn't pick a quieter meeting to give our introduction of Mattamy Homes to everybody here. But be that as it may, we appreciate the opportunity to come out today to say hello. Again, thank you very much to the members of the board, CROA staff, CCMC, and all the residents of Celebration. As Steve said, my name is Bennett Ruedis. I work with a company called Mattamy Homes. We have an operation, one of our largest operations here in the United States, here in Central Florida. And our offices are located in Orlando, Maitland area. And as you may know, several months ago, we had been selected by the Celebration Company to be the developer and the builder of the next phase of Celebration called Island Village. And we're very, very super excited to be here. I was talking with some of the residents here already, some of the board members. Personally and professionally, I am licking my chops at this opportunity to continue the tradition that you have here with Celebration and extend it over to Island Village. You know, and so today, just wanted to say hello to everybody, and you know, we haven't officially done that yet, and we wanted to do that, I guess, today at the annual meeting here. You know, so here we are. I wanted to let everybody know, if you already don't know, we're going to have a lot more information about the new community coming up here at a town hall meeting. Been working with Steve here and their staff to help arrange that meeting for this coming Monday, March 12th, right here at 5:30. And we're planning to do a presentation and do a little bit of Q&A as well. We can't go all night as much as there is to talk about Island Village, and as much as you folks want to know. We'll want to feed each other, you know, little bits and pieces of what's going on, but we want to, want to engage with you guys and let you know what is going on, what our timing is, what our plans are, and all that good stuff. So again, that's this coming Monday at 5:30 right here, and we hope to have a lot of folks there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, just in case you didn't get that, that's Monday, March 12th at 5:30 in this room, the town hall meeting. It'll be about a 2-hour meeting. Okay. So the annual meeting is really the meeting of the membership, and I'm going to turn it over now to Jack as your president, and he'll take over the president's portion of the meeting, and then we'll do some recognition of our volunteers and some introduction of the foundation and thriving in our lifelong learning. So please stick around for the entire meeting. We have door prizes. I have the tickets here that I'll be drawing. We have some gift certificates to Town Tavern and some really nice gift certificates and a little gift from Columbia coming up at the end. So please stick around all the way through the end. So I will turn the President's portion of the meeting over to Jack.
Thank you, Steve. At this time, I'd ask you all to stand and join me with saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So normally at this portion of the meeting, I usually ask Steve, is there a quorum? And for us to have a quorum at the annual meeting, we need to have 20% of all the units represented. We have 4,321 units in celebration. Of that, 4,293 are eligible to vote. So we would require 859 units to be represented in order for us to have a quorum. Obviously, we don't have that. However, since no business will be conducted during the meeting, we don't have to have a quorum. So the first order of business is then to have approval of the minutes. So I would appreciate a volunteer to make a motion to waive the reading of the 2017 annual meeting minutes. So moved. And a second, please. I don't have it.
I got a copy. Here,
all right. All right, so all in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carries in. Now, because of we have a staggered system of elections. In 2018, 4 directors were elected for 2-year terms. We elect our directors at large, and this year 4 candidates received the most votes. The directors that have been elected will serve a limit of 2 consecutive 2-year terms and must wait at least 1 year before running again for election. In 2019, we'll elect 3 more directors for 2-year terms, and in 2020, once again, we'll go back to 4 directors for 2-year terms. So what I'd like to talk about right now is strategic planning, because in 2017, the Board of Directors took part in a day-long strategic planning session to identify goal areas for the community of Celebration. Combining these results with past board's goals and objectives to the 2017 board, developed 7 goal areas. These goal areas provided a focus for the board and the management company to achieve many accomplishments in 2017. The first goal was led by myself and Debbie McDonald. Debbie, if you want to come up here, but our goal was to build mutually beneficial strategic partnerships with county, civic community, and schools and districts. And we were able to establish a quarterly meeting schedule with Commissioner Peggy Chowdhury and Deputy County Manager Beth Ann Knight. Our next meeting will be, I believe, March 19th, is that right? 21st, sorry. We also work with the Osceola County School Board in extending the K-8 facility usage agreement, which are our fields right alongside the building here. We met with county officials to address on-street parking and traffic flow, and we partnered with the Celebration Foundation for Lifelong Learning and Thriving in Place. We're going to continue working with the county and CDD to explore the possibility of an interlocal agreement to address the needs for the community as far as building a civic center or a community civic center in the quarter. Goal number 2 was Debbie McDonald and David Anderson.
Thank you, Jack. As Debbie and I talk about goal number 2, just one thing that we'd like to reflect upon is that while we were co-leaders of this goal, these were really board goals. So this is not just Debbie and David doing goal 2. Okay. So what we did is we initiated quarterly surveys. You all responded. And the survey results are online. And if any one person wants one of the 3 that have been published so far, we've got them. But they're all available there. The 4th one's being analyzed to date. We did meet and greet activities for the board. Lots of different meet and greets. Food provided. We offered resident listening sessions when we underwent the management review process. Numerous special events for residents, some first-time things happening. And we initiated and promoted, we didn't actually do it, but promoted new content, and it came from some of the feedback from you for the Celebration News. new things on the covenants, articles highlighting residents, and the survey results, like 2-page spreads. So those are some of the things that we help to orchestrate on behalf of our board.
Unfortunately, Leonard is not here. This was his goal area. That was the implementation of the CROA Facilities Master Plan. And we'll skip the first item for a second because we spent probably 11 months talking with Mark Vikentunis, the county, Florida Gas Pipeline, whatever they were called, CDD and TCC, as far as trying to get a solution for building the Civic Corridor Road. And everywhere we turned, we probably built 16 different models of roads that we could build. And as it was, at the end of our discussion, we met with Jack Davis from the golf course, and he finally said, well, why don't you just buy the golf course property from us, which we ended up doing. So the first thing we did was the acquisition of the golf course property, 4 acres between the CDD building and our current property over there in the Civic Corridor. Like I said, we went through the design, engineering, and planning for the athletic fields, and including the access road and sidewalk. And just recently we went through an RFP process for the selection of a general contractor who happened to be Arnco, who is building the Presbyterian Church addition. They've also built the Civic Corridor, various parts of the Civic Corridor, and the CDD building. So they're going to be constructing our access road, the sidewalk, and the athletic fields. And we just recently signed the contract with them, so I expect that construction will begin in early May. We also had the grand opening of the Celebration Unleashed Dog Park, where people are always welcome as well. So that seems to be a very popular thing, the Celebration Dog Park. So goal number 4, that goes to Paul Collins and Tim Swisher. Paul's not a...
There's a picture of them.
Oh, there's our dog park. I mean, there's our athletic field. We have 2 natural fields and 1 artificial turf field. And we had talked about possibly having plans to eventually extend the trail through there to North Village, and that may occur in the next couple of years. We'll talk with the CDD, talk with the county, see if we can get some funding for that. But that would be a great thing as far as extending the trail and being able to go from North Village westbound along the Civic Corridor and not having to go all the way around the golf park way to get to the, go through the library to get to the trails. All right, so goal number 3 was Tim, the letter Tim and Tim Swisher.
Okay, thank you. As Jack mentioned, the goal number
4.
Strategic plan number 4, implementing the CROA recreational plan. Paul Collins and I led this strategic plan. In April of 2016, a recreational program plan task force was formed to examine and implement standards for all civic, recreational, and not-profit organizations that were a part of the celebration community. As a result of these standards, were in place of how CROA could prioritize and implement usage fees and facilities availability and to ensure highest quality of programming in the community. This task force consisted of Adam Parrish, David Anderson, Dory Moyer, Clint Searcy, and Bob Gaitis. If you're there, stand, would you please? I just want to say there was a lot of hours put into that, so thank you very much for all your work. Also, this year, the goal of the Board of Directors was to develop a recreational committee that would re-examine all of the recreational and athletic partnerships and ensure higher standards are met. This committee meets regularly now to discuss and recommend ideas to the board to continue to improve community overall recreational plans. The Recreational Committee recently completed the selection process for the tennis provider and the youth, martial arts, dance, health and wellness classes, and the swim lessons, along with selection of swim team provider that made recommendations to the board for approval. The board also recognized that there was a need for programming for the aging community and there was underutilized facility space in the 851 building during the day. This year, the board partnered with the Thriving in Place and Lifelong Learning groups to provide enrichment programs for the aging community. Last year, the Celebration Community Chorus was in need of a permanent choral director, and its participation count was in the teens. With the return of Chris Shave from the graduate studies at Michigan State, Chris was able to rebuild the chorus to what is now well over 50 singers, and as their choral conductor has raised the level of musicality significantly. Finally, the board also renewed their agreement with the K through 8 and was able to enhance facility usage agreement, allow for better use of the K through 8 fields and gymnasium. The board believes that we now have a strong, fair, and viable recreational program, high-quality programs that will increase the quality of life and celebration for all residents, and has also helped to attract top-tier coaches and players to the celebration, making it a place for our kids who want to play sports and recreational activities. Thanks.
So I'd like to bring Dave Anderson back up for goal number 5.
Thank you. And representing Paul, who is once again not here. I mean, once again, we know that tonight. So with this goal area about community management and organizational effectiveness, one of the things that the entire board and a lot of the community members were involved with was reviewing the management contract process, looking at options for us since the term of the incumbent was coming to an end. We decided to renew that, got some good terms, we think, for the community. As part of that also, we have a commitment for an external management review to come in, to take a look at our organizational efficiencies, trying to keep our costs down and our efficiencies and quality of work up. Also, as part of that is a review of, a commitment for reviewing protocols and activities so that we can again work more efficiently. Another thing that was incorporated in this goal area is landscape, and as our warmer weather is coming, I'm happy to say I made it out of Pittsburgh, where was I? Philadelphia this morning before the snow, and they shut down the airport or whatever was going to happen. But our flowers are coming in and our weeds are coming, and we have 2 new landscape companies, and we're confident and very hopeful that things are looking different already. We've started the process for a work order management system, started to identify areas for cost savings, and some of that comes from you through the resident surveys. And then the last thing to highlight is actually those resident surveys with the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thank you very much, of written comments that you provided that we're still using. As we, even though they may have come from last May, we're using them now for ongoing improvement and service delivery. So the job is not done, many more to do, and we're pleased with what we were able to accomplish this year.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here representing myself and Leonard. My name is Eric Opegard. One of the things that we wanted to look at that was based off of resident feedback was looking at green technology initiatives and trying to be a little bit more environmentally friendly, which also has an increase in our technology footprint in the community, which is one of our cornerstones. Some of the things that we looked into that were a result of feedback were electric vehicle charging stations in the community, as well as some options for solar technology in some of our buildings and outbuildings. And the one thing that I want to say about this goal area is what we did here was we generated a lot of work for Todd and his team. That's essentially what we did. So there was a lot of things that you may have noticed with some of the bollard lighting that's in our parks and playgrounds now that was converted over to LED as we were replacing those. So it's not only energy efficient for us, but it also hopefully means that it's going to last a lot longer and we're not going to have to replace those. And then also, as it was a long awaited and well overdue, but we now have geothermal heating and cooling located at the lakeside pool. So I am serious when I say the pool's cool. So when the summertime and you jump in that water and it's kind of a little warm, you know, that's now a thing of the past. And we're actually going to be saving money as well with that geothermal system and gaining that additional cooling that we have in the summertime. So that was 6. Come on, Tim.
All right, Eric and I were doing the last strategic plan, ensuring community standards are met. I've said from the beginning of my term that it's important that the residents learn, and the newcomers, about what is the rules of the community standards. Doing that, they'll become happier and more compliant, and there won't be a lot of issues with regards to the inspectors and them being having to send out letters, and we all don't like letters. So, so we also have implemented the Celebration News on a regular basis, articles about the different aspects of community standards, so that will help the reader learn a little bit more about what's expected of how their house needs to look and so on and so forth. The board also recently split the landscape contract, and so we have one company handling the service areas, one company handling the common area, and we hold that service area landscaper to a much higher standard. And we expect that landscaper to be able to produce more vibrant, more colorful landscapings for those service areas, and to keep those service areas in better shape than what the common area landscaper would do. The board also implemented a program. We had several condominium associations in Celebration whose quality of standards were very, very low. So in talking with these condominium associations and trying to convince them to get back to a regular standard for their landscaping, a few of them were not exactly cooperative. So we used a management technique with mediation in order to be able to get these community manager or these community associations to begin to improve on the look of their buildings. And it's turned out to be an extremely good technique, management technique. Finally, we started a lunch and learn program for the condominium property managers in the community and invited them to come together to share best practices and to earn education or continuing education credits and learn better management techniques from some accredited industry leaders. We had one of those. It was called the Anatomy of a Leak. And so, especially in a condominium, it's difficult to determine whether it is the owner's responsibility when there's a water intrusion issue and whether it's the association's responsibility. So it's things like that that will help these community managers to, or these property managers to keep the standards of their condominiums up. So, okay, thank you.
Perfect. No, you're okay. Tim did all the work on this if he didn't pick up on that.
All right, well, we didn't get everything done that we'd hoped to get done. Things were left on the table for the next new board to tackle. Among these will be continuing the construction project of the Civic Quarter Road and the Athletic Field Complex. Like I said before, Arnco was selected as our contractor. We did sign a contract with them, so I would expect probably after permitting we may see them starting to do work in May or so. It will take 6 months to complete the Athletic Field Complex. What we didn't get done was the restroom concession building at the Athletic Field Complex. Part of this was caused because we weren't sure exactly how large we had to build a building. This will be one of the first things that needs to be tackled by the new board. We are going to be continuing the implementation of the recreation program plan, and this coming year we're going to be replacing pool equipment and umbrellas, or playground equipment and umbrellas in East Village and North Village, as well as pool furniture and umbrellas. So we also have to discuss what we're going to do with our new property that we gained, the 4 acres that we have in the Civic Quarter. That'll be a community decision. We have some ideas, but once again, we'll defer to the board to make the decision on what we're going to be doing on that, and probably have a focus group with the county and with our town hall management to do this thing. We'll continue to offer member services that enhance lifestyle offerings. and quality of life benefits for all ages. So next up, if you'll get your coupons out, it's time for a prize drawing.
Woo!
And this prize is for a $25 gift card to the Town Tavern. So I'm going to defer if you pass it down to Debbie and let her draw the number.
There you go.
Uh-oh. You can announce
And
it
I'll
right
let,
there on the
I'll let-
Pick a good one.
I'll let Eric read it.
Yeah, get that one.
Last three numbers 970. Anybody?
Did I win? Did I win?
That could be it.
No, I didn't win. 970.
970?
Yeah, it's 970.
Would that
No,
work?
970.
Does that work?
All right, going once,
Here.
twice. 970, last three digits.
Last three numbers.
Okay, we're moving on here.
Wait a second.
Somebody woke up.
All right, come on up here.
Ah, Frank, good job.
Frank, that was fixed.
Verify it.
Good job, Frank.
All right, at this time, I'd like to bring up Gloria Neese to talk about the Celebration Foundation.
Thank you, Jack. Can everybody hear me back there? Okay, I'm going to be leaning in. First off, I have some good swag. So if anybody's interested in a pad with our new logo or a pen or some cleaning cloths, just let me know. Come up and see me at the end of the meeting.
This one's mine.
Yeah, yeah. I have one for everybody at the board. So first, I want to thank Steve, and I want to thank the CROA board for allowing me to speak on behalf of the foundation. I am going to read my notes. And congratulations to the incoming board members, and thank you to the outgoing board members for your service. It really is appreciated. In the last few years, the Celebration Foundation has been working with Steve and the CROA board to help build Thriving in Place by providing space for its members to gather and share time together. Perhaps you have heard that loneliness and social isolation may be more significant health factors than obesity, smoking, exercise, or nutrition. Powered by nearly 100 volunteers, Thriving provides rides, activities, social engagement, and companionship. It works because of our partnership with CROA, the Celebrators, Celebration Health, Windsor, UCF, churches, businesses, members, and the community. Celebration Lifelong, originally conceived under Thriving, is now part of the foundation family. It provides enrichment opportunities through numerous classes, clubs, and speakers. It's also driven by volunteers who organize, plan, teach, learn new skills, and grow the program. Thriving in Place and Celebration Lifelong are changing the way our seniors can age in this community. And perhaps you sense that partnership and volunteerism are critical elements of the success of the Celebration Foundation. In the past 6 years, I've shared stories, I've showed videos, and I've shared celebration by the numbers. But tonight, I really want to thank the hundreds of volunteers who make our programs successful. Their bountiful energy, their expertise, and their financial contributions all help to make the foundation what it is today. To put it in perspective, the foundation staff has 3 full-time employees and 2 part-time employees, but yet we impact thousands of lives. And we could not do it without the support of volunteers in this community and Osceola County. We do it because we share a conviction that what we do truly matters to the people that we serve. I am so very, very, very grateful to a Celebration Foundation board that guides me and guides the path of the foundation. They take their responsibility seriously. No matter that our revenue is $600,000, they use the same principles that would manage a multi-million-dollar company. The Board of Trustees and Advisory Council are dedicated volunteers who care about this community, our programs, and fulfilling our role as a nonprofit organization. Every one of our programs has a volunteer committee that helps direct the program. Recently, the concert series featured Branford Marsalis. Branford Marsalis tours around the world in venues that have 5,000 people. Branford's staff and Rod, who's his tour director, said we handled his concert as professionally as any venue that he's performed in the world. I'm really proud that we were able to do that. Volunteers from across the county partner with the Foundation on Osceola Connected to provide weekend food to children who have food insecurity. And this is a more sensitive way of saying children with hunger issues. Not because they don't like what's being served for dinner, but because they don't know if there's going to be food in their household. Because of the Celebration Foundation, we help provide weekend food to over 1,000 children every week during the school year to help reduce that food insecurity. And many of these children come from very insecure homes. They didn't even know that post-secondary education was available to them. So we, the foundation, along with our volunteers, we started Campus Express. And we took them on tours of Tico and Valencia, and we told them, yes, you can go to college. Yes, this can be your future. And you know, guess what? We have taken 6,000 kids on campus tours of those two schools. And guess what? The college-going rate for Osceola County jumped from 40% in 2010 to 48.6% in 2015. Then we had a group of women that came together to share their concerns about the onslaught of negative media and role models influencing girls and young women. They created WINGS, Women's Initiative Nurturing Girls' Strength. And this provides positive messages to over 125 middle school children during monthly power lunches. And they talk about grit, determination, kindness, empathy, respect, goal setting, and leadership. And then there's our New Urbanism Committee. We have professional architects, planners, and pioneers, celebration pioneers, that care about the new urbanism principles that shape this community. They lead tours, they teach classes at Lifelong, and they bring in annual speakers. People like Michael Eisner, Joe Barnes, Charles Adams, Peter Rummel. These are members of the original Disney Development Company. Volunteers created a masterpiece with the Holiday Home Tour and Winter Wonderland. They took a wonderful event that was part of the community's tradition, and they made it even better with the support of CROA. It brings joy to thousands of people who love to tour homes and see decorated trees and tables. Our signature event, and some of you got that information, got a complete overhaul this year. Named Hit the Road Gala, we are grateful to our host, Windsor, who will regale us with beverages and culinary delights. Our entertainment includes an American Idol finalist, steel drums, dueling pianos, an outstanding magician, and our big finale, drawing for a Ford Mustang. Yes, all this led by volunteers. So many of you here tonight are part of the fabric of the Celebration Foundation. You are volunteers, you are sponsors and friends. So I want to quote Kathy Van Tassel, who is a Celebration resident and founder of Onboard Oxygen, who helped us with our logo redesign. And this is what she said about the foundation. The Celebration Foundation identifies needs, convenes talented people, and they take action. Get to know them. I think you will be proud of how they impact lives in Celebration and Osceola County. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. So how do you like the new TVs in here tonight? Can you see it better than the normal screen that's on here? These TVs are a product of our new partnership with Lifelong Learning. So I would like to invite Paul Kinzer to come up and talk a little bit about Lifelong Learning.
Thanks, Steve. When Steve mentioned to me that the theme for this evening was going to be aging with dignity, I wasn't sure whether he thought I might be a kind of a model or whether I should pick up my game a little bit. But aging with dignity, there's nothing we can do about Part A, right? And in my opinion, Part B can be affected, and it can be very dramatically affected. In order to have dignity, I think you need to have physical and intellectual independence. And that's what the program of lifelong learning, Celebration Lifelong, is all about. It's a continuing education program. We offer about 40 to 45 classes each semester, every fall, every spring. This program started in 2012 in the Stetson University building. It's grown steadily for the past 6 years. It is now a successful partnership between CROA and the Celebration Foundation. Let me just see a show of hands now for all of you who have either taken a class or taught a class, lifelong learning, the last 6 years. Show of hands. Good job, you guys. Glad you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I did. Yeah, professors over here on this side, too. We appreciate it. Thank you. So with the planned sale of the Stetson building, the program had to move, obviously. It soon became apparent that the only suitable classroom location in town is Town Hall. After some very, very productive meetings and discussions with Steve Waring, Gloria Neese, CROA board members, this board last November unanimously voted to approve inclusion of Lifelong and to house Lifelong here at Town Hall. And we thank you for that very, very much. So in leaving Stetson, we needed some equipment, clearly, as Steve has pointed out, the televisions. This is when Celebration Lifelong began to do some fundraising. And in that process, we managed to purchase these 3 TVs, 3 sound systems, teaching podiums, whiteboards, a registration system, other instructional equipment needed to support the program. And all of that equipment is now being used and shared between Lifelong Learning and the needs of Town Hall and our community here in this facility. So we're happy to have made that contribution. For its part, the Celebration Foundation agreed to provide the following in this partnership. Mostly financial oversight. They pay the bills, they process the credit cards, they provide a system of accounting for all of the finances. There's an annual audit that we will be a part of. They provide the insurance and a website. And Gloria has also managed to find in her area an office for lifelong learning, which we otherwise would not have had. So we appreciate that. But for me, this project demonstrates the power of partnerships and our ability to move our community programs forward by working together. I'm very proud of the Foundation Board and the CROA Board for embracing this program and giving it sustainability in our community. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to you in the audience. A parting thought here. In 2004, Disney copyrighted a book. That book was titled The Celebration, the Story of a Town. 14 years later, it is time to write a new book. And that book is Celebration, the Story of a Community. Working together, there is nobody better to write that new story and write that book than us. Thank you very much. Miss Mary Ann Kinzer, come on forward.
Thanks, Paul. My role is to talk more about the specifics of the Celebration Lifelong program, but I do need to say one more time, thanks for the partnerships. Thanks to the Celebration Foundation, thanks to the CROA Board, and thanks to the Town Hall staff. Without your support, without your partnership, the Lifelong program might not have survived. But not only have we survived, but we're growing. Our count as of this morning registered 230 individuals attending our classes, our lectures, our clubs, and our events. So thank you very much for making this possible, all of you. But a little bit about our program. You might know that all of our instructors are volunteers. Gloria, that goes back, and Steve, to the volunteer theme. None of our programs would work without the heart of our volunteers. The lifelong volunteers rely on their professional expertise and their personal experiences to provide a varied and rich program and curriculum. Our instructional team includes physicians and medical professionals from Florida Hospital, those who are retired from that profession and live here in Celebration. We have celebrated playwrights, authors, professors, and intrepid travelers, a part of our teaching group. 14 classes, new classes, start next week, and registration is still wide open. Some of the examples of lifelong courses coming up and in the past include our Celebration Architecture and New Urbanism, the Walk Around the Block. It's an opportunity to stroll our town with some extremely talented architects and learn about the design and function of our town. In the area of health and medicine, you can learn about circadian medicine, how to care for your spine, or practice Tai Chi for your health and well-being. In history, you can study the golden age of rock and roll with retired National Program Director for Radio Disney. Or in the visual arts, you can take beginning drawing, painting with watercolors, painting with colored pencils. In the field of literature, you can examine the life and writings of Mark Twain or study the short stories of Anton Chekhov. In science, you'll be able to look into the contributions of women in science, such as Jane Goodall and Diane Fossey. And these are just a few of the examples of courses we offer. For more information, you can go to the Celebration Foundation website, where a complete catalog and information is posted, or you can go to celebrationlifelong.org, or maybe even better, come to Town Hall next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Volunteers will be here between 10:30 and 3 o'clock, and we'll be glad to chat with you about our program and give you some more information. I hope you'll join us for the pure joy of learning, and maybe even one day you'll consider joining our instructional team and share your own personal knowledge and experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Paul, I would appreciate if you bring that book forward that you mentioned. This is a book that he mentioned is the celebration of the story of a community. We have 6,000 of these that we've stored for a long time, many, many years.
We just got them.
Actually, you just got them. But anyway, we have 6,000. We could use the space for better things. So, Todd, where are you? Todd? In the room right behind you, the activities room. I'm going to ask Todd to open up the storage room there. Anybody wants a copy of this, it's free tonight. Okay? So it's a good coffee table book. Okay? And I'd like to just re-emphasize, I look forward to a strong partnership with the foundation as far as Thriving in Place and lifelong learning, especially as we go forward in the Civic Corridor, the Civic Center, trying to build programs and having activities for every age group that we have. Part of the backbone of our community, though, is the volunteer committees that make up our organization. And they go unnoticed and nobody says a word about them, but I'd like to recognize each of these committees now, especially let's start out with the Special Events Committee with Dory Moyer.
Thank you. So what's not to love about tonight's theme? Aging with tradition and toasting the future. The Special Events Committee of 5 dedicated friends, Eileen, PJ, Melody, Joanne, and I work closely with JR and Dana and the awesome lifestyle team. There are many events each year, and we have now close to 15 traditional events. We celebrate events this past year such as the Fall Festival with the Off-Kilter Band, the Founders Day Concert and Picnic, the Snowy Holiday Fest, and Posh Pooch, where there were about 4,000 people that showed up with their four-legged friends to enjoy a beautiful day at Lakeside Park just 2 weeks ago. And as always, a special thanks to Town Hall and the teams who magically set these events up every year. The recently sold-out father-daughter dance sizzled with over 300 participants who walked the pink carpet and danced the night away. And a special thanks to Debbie Jackson for donating the beautiful twinkling pink flowered arch which was the gateway to Paris, for an evening of fun, food, and a fabulous time. A new event we hope becomes a tradition will be at the dog park on March 23rd from 5 to 7. And this year it is aptly called Yappy Hour with grilled hot dogs, thank you JR and the team, and libations for purchase as we toast the 1-year anniversary of our awesome, awesome dog park. And based on interest, watch some follow-up events that we'd like to see, such as Sip and Drool, Bark-a-Cue, Tails and Ales, and maybe Doctoberfest. And who knows what we may come up with, and we're always open to suggestions, so please feel free to suggest some fun time. The Special Events Committee, as part of the resolution, worked on dog park fundraising by selling tiles and bricks this year. And I want to give a big shout out to Todd back there and his team for painting the awesome monument and putting the tiles on. And it's pretty much complete at this point in time. I just want to let you know that the tiles and bricks are purchased by the Celebration Friends of the Dog Park. And 100% of the proceeds goes back into the park for the purchase of requested amenities for the dog park, such as the water misters, the Adirondack chairs, and the message boards. And also, I just want to let you know that there are some funds we have available, and Todd and Steve are also working behind the scenes to try to find some really special low-level lighting so that we can have people can go and visit the dog park in the fall and the winter months when sunset comes and it's dark, but that's one of the most beautiful times of the year. So they're working on that, and soon we'll have that, at least by next season, I think. And there are still bricks available, but the tiles are just a few left, and if you want to buy one, you can always contact us, and maybe a gift for someone or for your own beloved pet. Now, another new event coming up next weekend is Wine Down Wednesday. Now, this is the kind of wine you sip, and while toasting traditions and your neighbors, while watching La La Land on the big screen on the Great Lawn. So, what can be more perfect than sipping wine, watching La La Land in La La Land? I had to say that because it is the perfect place. So bring some friends, chairs and blankets, and wind down and relax. Wine and refreshments will be available for purchase beginning at 7, and the movie is at 7:30. This is a real event. Thank you, JR. It's a great idea. Free gifts will be given to the first 100 people that come, and resident ID is required. So then the traditional egg coloring will be March 28th at the 851 building here between 3 and 5. And don't forget, BYOHBE. Bring your own hard-boiled eggs to color for the children. And then the shortest traditional event, yet extremely well attended, is where between 10 to 20,000 eggs are rolled onto the lawn at Heritage Hall beginning at 8:30, March 31st. And all I can say is DBL, don't be late, because that goes quick. And not to be forgotten, the second annual Mother and Son outing will be at Splitsville from May 19th from 12 to 2. Bowling, snacks, and transportation all for $30. And before we know it, it'll be time for Aloha to summer for the kids and family, then summer breakout, then the 4th of July, and then we start all over again. And I just want to thank the board for approving some of these crazy ideas. I want to thank JR, Dana, the staff, and Patrick and Scott for some of the artwork and the things that they do at the dog park, and Todd, and I mean, all these things are really special, and we all really enjoy them, but it's magical to watch them set up, and it's just as magical to tear it down. But we have fun as a committee coming up with some ideas and throwing these things around, but it's the staff that really is the magic and all, and we just really are very grateful to the board and to all of you behind the scenes who make it happen. So I hope to see you all at one of these events coming up, and just thank you very much.
Another one of our hardworking committees is the Architectural Review Committee, and representing the ARC is Michael Valaket.
Thank you. I'm Michael Valaket, representing the Architectural Review Committee. Even though it's called ARC, you don't have to refer to me as Noah. Okay, so, the Architectural Review Committee, our committee last year in 2017 consisted of myself as chairman, Adol Avila, past chair Alec Ross, Nathaniel Rosnack, and Brian Halter. Are any of you in the room tonight? If you would stand up. I'm the only one here. What's wrong with that? Nothing.
You're the one that throws.
I'm the man, I guess. But at any rate, I'd also like to have, to recognize, because we couldn't do it without him, our consulting architect, Jeffrey Mon. Jeffrey, please take a stand. Jeffrey makes our life and our decisions a lot easier. He attends every meeting, and he sits there and provides us with the input that we need to make sure that we maintain the standards as Founding Fathers wanted. And we also have Albert Riddle, a consulting landscape architect. Is Albert, are you here tonight? Again, I'm the only one here. How come I had to come?
They're all approving applications, I think.
Yeah, right. So thank you to Albert, too, because his landscape expertise is instrumental in our decisions as well. To summarize the year 2017, ARC looked at just about 1,200 applications. Top applications reviewed were painting, roofing, and landscaping. We did approve revisions to the design guidelines in solar heating, power generation, and other devices, landscaping design and planning, and also more, I think is pretty important, visible security cameras at front and rear elevations of the buildings to deter thieves. We decided that was, with the board's approval, we decided that was the way to go. We have new paint books were released for 7 architectures. That includes 3 new colors for each architecture. You can stop by Town Hall to look at them and go to the Sherwin-Williams website and review them online. In conclusion, we do have 1 open seat on ARC. Brian Halter had to step down for personal family reasons, important personal family reasons, his new baby and all. So we do have 1 seat. We only have 4 votes, so on any votes where there's 2-2, I guess I get 2 votes?
That's right. That's right.
You're
You're the only one here.
I'm the only one here, right? I'm the only one vote counts. So at any rate, as a reminder, please submit your applications before starting any work. That's one of our biggest problems. People coming in after the fact, wanting approvals on things that are not permittable or in the book for approval, and it makes our job very difficult, and it opens us up to criticism that we don't deserve. So please make sure that you check with Town Hall, and they'll be more than happy to assist you in all your applications at community standards. And ARC members dedicate hours each week reviewing applications because we want to assist the residents to improve their homes, and we are trying to be as user-friendly as possible, and we thank you for keeping Celebration beautiful. Thank you.
It's interesting. Dory had the fun committee, you had the hard-working committee, and now we have the Black Hat committee. And that would be Covenants, led by Robert LaFlame. Robert, where are you?
Stephen.
Oh, Steve. I'm sorry, you're here instead of Robert. Okay.
Robert didn't want to come.
By the way, we do need volunteers for the Covenants committee because one of the Covenants members is now going to be moved up to board. So think about volunteering.
Actually, we need more than one. We've had 2 of our very long-term committee members have chosen to resign their positions due to personal reasons, or they just got tired of coming to the meetings. It could be either one of the 2. But we do have many openings, and beseech you to contribute and volunteer. That's how I got volunteered by Pat before she escaped to do something else, because I had some concerns, and she just said, well, then come and participate and help. And I said, all right, I can do that. The committee members, as you can see here, are on the slide. I'm not good at reading everyone's name. Robert is our chairman. Robert has a very important job with Disney, and he does a lot of traveling, so we see him sporadically, and each time we have that, we have an opportunity to somebody else gets to be the chairman. So we pass that around. But these are our committee members. Herb Winfield and Gary are the two that are going to be departing, and we have one of our other members was just elected to the new board. So he'll be moving from the committee and moving up in the hierarchical relationship. The committee has routinely inspected with our inspectors that go out. The entire community is inspected on about a 6-week basis. We see all the communities on a 6-week basis. If a resident has 3 or less minor items to address, they receive an email correspondence. If they have 3 or more minor items or larger items, then they're sent a violation letter, which gives the residents 30 days to communicate a plan of action. And that is the biggest thing that we have asked and that Town Hall is asking, is that the owner just at least calls and contacts Town Hall. Once we have a plan of action, we now know that at least they're, it's not that we're working towards this compliance issue. We have a communication, and we're moving forward. So the issue is this communication between Town Hall, the committee, and the owner. The Covenants Committee also has, one of our members had done a very detailed analysis of the community standards compliance from June of 2008 through June of 2017. It was presented to the Board of Directors this last August workshop, and it also shows how important the covenants process has been keeping the celebration looking beautiful. What we found in that is that basically we have about a 6% issue throughout a year through all the inspections that we actually have to go through a full process to where the Covenants Committee actually sits down and we have a resident that we then have to have discussions of, meeting the compliance of how the standards that are established by the ARC or that are in the Covenants Committee. Are there any questions of me, being that we are the black hat? That's all I have. Thank you very much.
I would just like to echo Stephen's thoughts that communication is key. We're not here to run up excessive fines on people. We're trying to get things fixed, and that's what the thing is. If you communicate with us, fines will stop, and we can establish some kind of plan of attack. The next group is the Recreation Committee, led by our former CROA president, Vanessa Winter.
I took the longest walk, sorry. I will not be nearly as entertaining as Dory with all of her great stories. However, I am really proud because she's on our committee too. So thank you very much, Dory, for your continued service to the community. I'd like to recognize a couple of the committee members who are here, which obviously Dory is here. I know I saw some other ones too.
Adam's here.
Adam here. I knew I saw, oh, there's Adam. Adam's there too. Anybody else? Joseph? Okay, so we have, is Mark here? Mark's not here either. Okay, so it's me, Mark Hayes, Joseph Lynan, Dory, Adam, and then Clint Searcy. So we've had a lot of variety on our committee. We're coming from a very diverse community, very different and diverse parts in the community, making sure we represent the athletics and also the different age demographics too. The main goal of the Recreation Committee was to implement the whole recreation program plan to make sure that each individual program as it comes through is going to be streamlined. We have celebration recreation service providers are all now done through the RFP process, which runs through our committee. And then we also had developed a tool to ensure that ongoing quality of service was maintained. So we make sure that both the participants of the programs are given a survey. Also, the providers are given a survey to ensure that the service that they're getting from us at Town Hall is also taken care of. So it's both prongs. The last is to ensure amenity contracting is fair, making sure that all of the residents are able to get access to the different facilities, and making sure that it's fair and equitable among all of the demographics within Celebration. So I'm also brief, which is really good. Any questions? Thank you very much.
So, in summary, that's our committees, and I would like to thank all of our committee members who represented this evening, and to all the volunteers who have given so much of their time for our community. It's really appreciated, and it's pretty much a thankless job. All right, at this time, I'd like to introduce Susan Kearns, our community manager. Paul Collins is not here this evening, who's our treasurer, so Susan's going to be giving us her financial report.
Thank you, Jack. And for the last time, in case you didn't hear us the first 15 times, Paul wasn't able to join us tonight. But I will tell you, over the past year, he's been an absolute pleasure to work with. I will tell you that your board of directors works very, very hard to make sure that we build a budget that services the community at the highest level possible, that we management work efficiently and effectively, and we balance our budget every year. Our income, you can see, is $4,394,734 for 2018. We balance our budget, which means our expenses drive what the assessments are. You want to turn it to the next one?
Yes.
Okay. We have a fully funded, oops, something, oh, yeah, okay. We have a fully funded budget, and part of that is we have made sure that our reserves are funded. We fully funded our capital improvement contribution of $310,200. That is the money that we paid in order to finance this building over the years. We redirected that to go to the capital improvement fund. We also renegotiated the management contract with CCMC this year that saved you money as far as billable rates go. And we increased our operating budget due to the changes in landscaping, which I think come April, May, we'll be seeing such a more beautiful landscape in Celebration as a result. Our assessments for this year went up slightly from $911.40, which had been at for the last 4 or 5 years, to $930.72. And our annual trash fee is at $297.40. Reserves are the backbone of a healthy association. The reserves make sure that we maintain, enhance, protect, and preserve the assets that we own. And we have a little over $7 million in assets. That would be the buildings that, this building, our pool houses, our pools, all of the parks and the landscaping and everything. And we have a very healthy association. Your board of directors has made sure over the years that we have fully funded our reserves and planned for the futures. Our reserves are established for future repair and replacement of the common area assets, and the reserve study, which is something that we do every 3 years, has been done faithfully over the lifetime of Celebration. We last did our reserve study in 2016, and we'll be doing it again in 2019. You can see the reserve components. That's a little more than I told you, but we make sure that everything is maintained. And Todd and his team, Todd certainly manages all the vendors for that maintain our facility, as well as he leads the team that do a lot of that work themselves. Our current reserve standing as of January 31st of 2018, we had $5,320,642. We had $1,134,000, give or take, for replacement reserves. It just says replacement, but that's replacement reserves. And by statute, that money is protected. We can't use that for anything except to maintain, enhance, protect, and preserve the assets of our association. We also have a capital improvement fund, And that capital improvement fund has $2.6 million in it. We have a contingency reserve of $367,000. That contingency reserve is for when Hurricane Irma came through. Little does everyone know that the trees that are destroyed aren't covered by insurance, nor is the debris cleanup. We spent about $109,000 cleaning up debris, and we'll spend another, $22,000 in the coming months to put in new trees. And we as a healthy association make sure that we set aside money for that. We also have our surplus reserve, which is $1.2 million. And that money can be used for anything within the reserve categories. We kind of feel like it might be needed for our capital improvement fund, but we'll see. That's a board decision as we go along, and we'll see how we need to use it. In 2017, our contributions, our replacement reserve contribution was $591,000. And our capital improvement fund, which is amenity enhancements, was $1,010,095. That's really an amazing amount of money to put aside. That comes from three sources. It comes from our capital contribution, which every single time a property changes title in Celebration, the annual assessment is one annual assessment is collected, and that money goes into this capital improvement fund in order to make sure that we can build future amenities to keep our community vibrant. Also in there is our apartment rec fees and our debt service redirect, which was at $310,000. And in 2017, we contributed $38,000 to our contingency fund. And that's it for the most exciting part of the program. Thank you. Jack?
So I think you can see we're pretty healthy as far as finances go. And as far as finances go, it's now time for another drawing, so get your coupons out.
David do it.
No, it's Tim's turn.
And this will be for a $25 gift certificate to the Town Tavern.
All of those?
Just choose one.
Mix it up.
He had to put his in first.
He's good.
That's right.
9, 6, 8.
All right, come on up here.
Bingo, huh?
All right, so now, I'd like to bring Steve back up to introduce the 2018 volunteers.
Thank you, Jack. I'm going to take we're almost done, guys, I promise. We're at the end now. This is the fun part. We're going to recognize the volunteers from 2017, and then we'll recognize our new 2018 board members. But for our first slide for volunteer recognition, we want to recognize our outgoing directors. Did anybody notice that Paul's not here tonight? Poor guy. He really meant to be here, but he couldn't make it tonight. So our first person I want to recognize is Eric Opegard. Eric has been on the board for 4 consecutive years now. He served on the communication committee prior to joining the board. Eric has spent a lot of time here at Town Hall.
Too much time.
And to put it in perspective, he has had a baby since that time, and the kid's going to college now. So he has spent a lot of time here.
And he's going to have another one.
Yeah. So I'd like to recognize Eric. We got Eric and the board members outgoing a portfolio here with their names engraved, and then a nice engraved pin for them for their time spent on the board. So. The next person I'd like to recognize is Tim Swisher. And Tim, if you could come up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And then our last person is Leonard Tim, and he is not here tonight also. So if you guys we could recognize Leonard and thank him for his service. Okay. We also have some additional thank yous. I'd like to ask Debbie, who's a huge champion and advocate for volunteer programs here in Celebration, if she could come up and do a thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, just so you guys don't fall asleep, if you've ever volunteered in this community, could you just stand up for me? If you've ever volunteered for anything at any point, come on, I know you're out there. Anything? Give yourself a hand. Thank you. I see some of you sitting there I know volunteered, like Steve, but anyway. I just want to thank all of our residents and our community partners that volunteer all their time and their efforts throughout the year. We could not have this community without you. I also want to thank committee members. Jerry Weiland. Jerry, are you here? Officer Jerry, he left already. Celebration Community Development District, Celebration Company, the Foundation, the Community Volunteer Patrols, staff, and anyone else for volunteering. Your volunteers are the heart of the community, and thank you.
You need to get closer. Can't hear you.
Sorry. Just wanted to thank the volunteers of our community, Celebration Community Development District, the Celebration Company, Foundation, Volunteer Patrol, staff, and all of you that have given your time. Thank you so much. We've got a couple things Steve wants to give you.
We recognized our volunteers for all of our committees, but we'd like to have them come up. We have, this is an alcohol-themed night tonight, so we have a nice little bottle of Prosecco, and on here it says, "Thank you for keeping Celebration sparkling." Aww. So a nice little bottle here. So if we could have Dory, Joanne, Eileen, PJ, and Melody, whoever's here from the Special Events Committee, if you could please come up.
Are they just sharing one bottle?
You get one bottle that you share amongst all of you? No, everybody gets a bottle. We can get a picture.
Where's Eileen?
Did Eileen leave?
She leave?
Do I have to wait till I get home to open it?
Eileen, I'm drinking your bottle if you're not here anymore. Okay, and then, thank you. We would like the ARC committee. I think Michael's the only one here. Did he leave?
Hey.
Oh, no, Michael's still here. Come on up, Michael.
So he gets the other 3 bottles.
He gets 2. Noah's Ark, you get everything's in 2s. Say thank you.
Can I take the ones for the rest of the committee?
Sure. We can. Are you going to give them to him, or are you?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
I just want to thank Tony and Jessica that works with us directly in Covenants and ARC for doing an outstanding job. I'm not sure if they're in the room.
Did you hear that, Tony and Jessica? Tony and Jessica.
Couldn't do anything without them.
They already drank a bottle of this before tonight, so they're good. Okay, Covenants Committee, if Robert, Stephen, Gary, Vaughn, Michael, or Herb. How many do we have here?
4.
Oh, we have 4 people. All right.
Good. We need this.
Don't let this influence your vote.
We're going to keep these for the next meeting.
Just be giving you a middle bottle.
You guys want to squeeze in for a picture here?
Slide over. Debbie, slide over. Slide over, Debbie.
Yeah, get in there. Come on.
Steve, slide over.
Get in there.
Come on up. All right.
Thank you, guys. And then last but not least, we have the Recreation Committee, and I believe it's Vanessa, Mark, Joseph, Dory, Adam, and Clint. But I believe Vanessa and Adam are here tonight.
And Dory.
And Dory's here too. That's right, Dory.
Dory, we're going to send you to AA.
Dory, I'll give you a ride. It's all right.
I like that. Tori needs a ride.
Yeah, Tori needs a ride home.
The rest of us, she deserves it.
It's the best thing I ever got.
You got everyone?
Very good.
Okay. And I think that's our thank you to all of our volunteers. Please give them one more round of applause. Okay, before I turn the slide here, last year we had our inaugural Volunteer Hall of Fame, and our recipient last year was Dory Moyer for all of her time and dedication to the community. So, Dory, I'll give you another bottle of wine if you'd like. Well, we'd like to recognize our second annual Volunteer Hall of Fame recipient tonight. And I'm going to read just a short bio, and you'll probably recognize who this person is as I'm reading this, and then I'll put on the slide so you can see the picture. In 2003, while on a visit to Celebration, our inductee made a decision to relocate to our special town of Celebration. In the fall of 2007, he co-founded the Veterans Club of Celebration, along with former Celebration resident Tom Abs. Today, it boasts 65 members. In an effort to give back to the community, he volunteered for and was a graduate of the second class of the Osceola County Sheriff's Office Community Volunteer Patrol, the CVP program. And since then, he's been patrolling the streets of Celebration in a volunteer capacity, and that's been since 2007. So I'm sure we all recognize, oh, I'm sorry, we'll come back to this one, Debbie. We would all recognize, and if you guys can please stand and recognize, our Celebration Volunteer Hall of Fame winner for 2018. We have Chief Master Sergeant Salvatore Negro. Sal here? Oh, here he is. Would you like to say a word real quick? Okay, I missed a slide, so I'm going to go back, and Debbie's going to talk to us real quickly about a donation to Kissimmee Police Department.
Another volunteer effort we had in the community was probably one of my favorite things that we did during the year. I think, that's a bloodhound, or is that a shepherd?
That's the bloodhound, yeah. That's the one from last year.
Okay, that's the wrong dog. But we actually raised enough money to help the Kissimmee Police Department get a German Shepherd to honor Sam Howard, who was killed last year. And the Kissimmee Police Department came to our CROA meeting and accepted our partnership with that, and we are just very honored to be able to help remember him in that way. So thank you all for everything that everyone that contributed towards that and helped for that. We appreciate it in honor of Sam Howard. So.
Okay. And in case you haven't seen or you didn't know, the suspense has built up to this moment where we will be announcing our 4 newly elected board of directors. Before we do that, I want to thank PJ Cartwright and the team last night. They stayed until about 9:15, 9:30 counting votes. So thank you to them. They are meticulous. They counted every vote. They made sure it was by the book, and they did a wonderful job with that last night. But to announce the winners last night, I believe we have most of these folks here tonight, but we have Kevin Kirby. If you can please come up in front of the room, we'll get a picture of you. I think Kevin's the best dressed board member. He gets that award this year. We have Vaughn Roberts. Is Vaughn here? No, Vaughn's not here tonight, is he? We have Jackson Mummy. Jackson, come on up. And last but not least, Brian Kenzel. And these guys will join David Anderson, Debbie McDonald, and Jack McLaughlin as your 2018 CROA Board of Directors. So one more big round of applause for them. Thank you very much. Okay, and I will turn it back over to Jack to introduce the annual video and to close out the meeting.
All right, so here comes the fun part of the meeting. Okay, let's take a look at our annual video. Okay, we have 2 more prizes to be drawn.
I'll just draw since they're in front of me here. Okay, it's 358015.
I hate to say it, Floyd, this is not good.
Of course.
No,
see what it is.
But you don't drink wine. But there is a gift certificate.
So there's a $25 gift card in here and then a sangria pitcher.
I know.
Hold that up so we can see. All right, okay.
Give him a bottle of wine too. All right, the next one and our last prize is 357996.
Well, that brings us to the end. For those who didn't win anything, remember we have books back there. Todd's going to get them for you.
They're already out. They're
already out.
Your way out.
So
You can
please
grab
take them on the way out. Help us out so we create more storage room. And at this time, I'll ask you, is there any questions? There being no questions, I would accept the motion. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, we got a question.
I have a quick question. I actually came here on behalf of the Celebration Pickleball Club. This is actually my first CROA board meeting, so I'm not even sure if this is the appropriate forum, but since the old board members are here, thank you. And then the incoming board members, thank you. And really what I really just want to do is share with you that pickleball does have a place here in Celebration. I heard a couple of the activities groups talk about, we're trying to find things here in Celebration for all age groups. Pickleball is the largest growing and fastest growing sport in the United States today. It covers people from ages elementary school and people well into their 70s and 80s. We really just would hope that as the board meets and continues to meet, that you would include us in your thoughts as far as usage space in the civic corridor and K-8 facilities or somewhere locally, that our group could grow and become maybe part of your video in the future.
I don't want to release any information, but I'm sure we're going to talk about that with the next board. And I was favorably impressed when I went and visited Largo, Florida's civic centers, and they were heavily involved in pickleball. Okay. So anyway, any more questions? There being none, I would accept a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
And we're adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.